I'm just so grateful that Marcella told me about this session and I'm meeting you all. So I'm Ananya, and I am an activist, a change maker, and a poet. And I write on different things. And one of my composition is around home. So I like to weave my stories with my poetry, and I do some shows in Australia, and I'm from India, so I do my shows there as well. But I thought of sharing this concept of finding home, which was a personal journey for me, and I think it might be relatable for a lot of us because it is a journey of healing, of knowing yourself. So when you hear the word home, what comes to your mind? It can be literally anything. If you want to share.
Warmth in regards weather and people. That's something that it came to my mind straight up, especially because I came from the coast, which is warm, and people there are warm as human beings as well.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
lovely.
Juan?
Thank you for sharing, Mario.
That's all right.
Yep.
Good. I was going to say the place or state when you feel safe.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and yes, that's such a strong feeling. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Different connotations, yes, I would say it's a safe place. And also with the environment, you feel very comfortable. Wouldn't be, yes, cannot be like the place, like a physical place, but yes, it could be like many things that feel you very familiar with.
Absolutely. I love it. Anyone else before I continue?
For me, it came like different things in my mind, like the shape of a home, as you mentioned before, like 2 weeks ago. The shape of a home, my family, but if I see it from the spiritual part, it's like myself. Like if I'm connected to myself, I'm at home and I'm at peace. And yes, that's
beautiful. Thank you. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking it's exactly as Miguel and Juan and Marife, a bit of a mix of those three things. The warmth as well, but I live in Tasmania and it's
you cannot. Not even in summer.
Not even in summer. So, but yeah, comfortable, feeling safe, feeling comfortable in your own skin, regardless of wherever you are. We live in Tassie, but our family lives in Spain, so we're comfortable whenever we're in one place or the other. It's never different. So it feels, when you feel comfortable with yourself.
How beautiful.
For me, the first thought is routine in a positive way. Like when there is a routine and every day is the same things, for me is okay, I'm at home.
Wow, thank you everybody for sharing. That's the beauty that every one of us thinks of home differently because we are different people and it doesn't have to be one particular answer. So thanks for sharing. And okay, I will share I don't know if I should call a theory around it or a journey of finding home. So if you remember, as a child, I'm sure in school or somewhere you would have been told to paint or draw a house, and you would have drawn that typical house with the sun and sharp mountains and a wavy river or a path in front of it. You can do nods if you are able to recall and you remember, or you might be seeing a kid around you drawing that typical hut and calling it a home or a house. And for a very long time as a kid or as a teenager, we think that this is our home, this structure, this particular physical space is home. And maybe growing up, we start to realize that maybe it is the people who are making us feel at home. Could be family, could be carers, could be friends that we grew up with. And sometimes we feel like it is not just that particular place, but also that area, the community. You are coming from Spain, maybe I'm coming from India, and I remember like the entire colony I had, the neighbors, and festivals, all of that feels like home, especially for people like us who have moved to different places. We think of the entire community as home sometimes. We also sometimes think of city as a home, especially when you go away from your city. You're like, it's not just that one house that is my home, the entire city is my home. We have that emotion that I can call my city underdeveloped, or it is miserable, and then if anyone else says that, I'll be like, I will not leave you. I'll not spare you. So we have that kind of attachment and belonging to our city, and we feel that that's our home as well, and we feel that excitement. Oh, you're from the same city, and suddenly you want to be friends with that person, especially in a far country like Australia. And then when I say we start finding home in people, it could be family, it could be friends, it could also be a partner after a certain age. And we start investing so much in our friendships. We have colleagues, we have our other friends from uni or whatever. And then sometimes we end up with a partner or with friends. It's fortunate if we are not in that situation, but a lot of us do, where we spend so much on that home. We overspend on that home. It's like, financial budgeting. You have invested all of your money and your savings in building your home, that you can't even put fuel in your car, or you can't even get yourself a good meal because everything you had, all resources, is in your home. And I'm using this metaphor because emotionally, we put all our emotions, attachments, expectations in that home, and we call that person our home, our partner or our friends. And I learned this concept of temporary homes, that because it is in a person, we will have some expectations of return from the person. That's a temporary home then, because it can't be a permanent home. I mean, it's magical but very rare to find unconditional love. And I mean, I learned this even through Vipassana that, Marcella was talking about, or Buddha, the great philosopher we often refer to in meditation, Gautam Buddha. He talked about that our desires and expectations are the causes of misery. We can take a moment to sink in and get it, because it can be a lot of words. But a lot of times when we have endless desires and expectations from ourselves, from others, from the world, we land up in misery because we made temporary homes in people. We made temporary homes in not the right people. And coming back from people to, most of us have migrated to a different city, and you think in your head that so much is changing in your life. There's constantly, you're growing, you're changing, you're developing, you're trying to fit into the new culture. You're also wanting to keep the old part of you, that makes you attached to your old culture. And when you visit your country or your city back home, you feel like everything should be constant. I should feel back at home that, oh, this place is the same and I feel comfortable. But then you go back there and you realize things have changed. I had this emotion when I went to India to visit my parents. And I asked my mom that, okay, I want to get my hair cut. So do you want to accompany me to the salon? And she's like, we don't go to that salon anymore. I have started going to a different salon. And I'm like, I'm mad at this simple sentence. It would sound stupid and silly. But because I went to that salon and that lady was my best friend, I went there in my childhood for 10 years. I'm like, you can't change the salon suddenly. And other day I get up in the morning and I'm like, hasn't dad gone to the dairy farm till now to get milk, because we used to get fresh milk from the dairy farm? And she's like, he doesn't go there anymore, we get the packaged milk delivered at home. And I'm again mad. Because I'm like, how could you do that? Why don't you tell me these things on video call? We talk almost every day. She's like, oh, I don't remember to tell you this, that, about milk and everything. And I realized that it's very small things. It is not even going to matter me in the big spectrum of my life, or, in overall my term of life. But we do have emotions attached to a lot of things that we want, that our home should be constant. Our home should be constant source of happiness, or constant source of relief and calmness. But reality hits us, and then we realize that, just like us, things around us are also changing. And change is inevitable. Change is the only constant, only permanent. I know it is, it sounds like, okay, yeah, we know this, but accepting that change and living with that change is again a task. And I don't know, the universe or whatever you believe in, the God or life in general, keeps taking your test. Do you remember this lesson or not? That change is the only constant. And then the other day, I remember it was raining, and I think I was telling this to Marcella as well, that, at home, it smells different when it rains. The smell and I would say fragrance of the rain touching the ground, and when I'm around nature, the smell is just so different. And here it stinks. I don't know why. And I have some memories attached to rain, that my mom would make some specific fritters, or we would come together, sit next to the window. My dad would have like old songs played and everything. So a lot of time, home is the essence. It is a feeling, it is a smell, it is a touch of your childhood soft toy, or I don't know, the blanket you used to love and sleep with. A lot of times, home is just a memory. We are in that phase of life where we are hunting for a home, we are looking for a home, emotionally, psychologically, and we think home isn't just the past. And especially, I'm sure, like, because it's very hard to move to a different city, and to adulting is tough. So good on all of you, because I'm sure I'm one of the youngest here, so I have to learn so much from you. Adulting is definitely tough. Your responsibilities and everything keeps adding. And there's this time where you call a physical place your home, that okay, now it used to be my family's home, my parents' home, but now this physical place, whether rental, whether bought, whatever, you call it your home, that yes, I come after work to this place. But sometimes there are days, especially for me when I'm living by myself as a student, I hate the feeling of unlocking my empty, silent, dark home in the evening. I am not used to that. I am used to coming to home, and like this chaos at home. People like mom and dad are like having absolutely silly conversations, banter going on, and then suddenly in Australia I have to come back to a home which is absolutely empty, and then we do feel alone a lot of times. We feel isolated. I don't like eating food alone every day. Sometimes I want to just video call my parents and be like, do whatever you want to do, because I just want like someone feel that someone is around. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting better. I love going to the restaurant, saying that table for one. I'm like, yeah, why not? but we have all of those things. It might be for me, for you it would be different thing, that that particular thing makes you feel isolated or lonely sometimes. And I mean, it is a constant struggle that we're figuring our way through. We are finding a home, and then we feel that okay, we want to be on this journey, healing journey. All of us are getting into this meditation session, which is a big step towards our physical improvement, mental, psychological, all kinds of spiritual improvement. And it's a big leap. A lot of people don't even want to think about sitting still, A lot of people confuse themselves with being overambitious and training themselves with dreams versus being calm and happy and feeling satisfied with what we have. So it's different for everybody. And then once we are on that healing journey sometimes looks like 3 steps forward, 2 steps backward as well. It's not always a linear path that I'm getting better every day. You're like, oh God, again, I'm doing this. And then you're like, okay, I need to forgive myself. It's okay. Stop judging. I judge myself so hard sometimes. And I'm kind to everyone in the world, to my strangers. And then I'm like, okay, I have to be nice to myself. And then on healing journey, we talk about concepts like self-love, self-respect, self-care, all of these words. And unfortunately, because of Instagram and these social media, all of these influencers, they tell us, go to a fancy salon, get things done, and that's your self-care. Spend lots of money on a particular thing, feel luxurious, and that's self-care. I mean, it can make you feel good and happy. No disrespect towards anything like that. It's a personal choice. I might love going to a salon. But this concept is not as small as going to a salon or doing a retail therapy. It is big enough. It is like respecting yourself the way you respect anyone else in your family or anyone around you. That when you have to say no, just for yourself, when you have to understand your body, how Marcella was telling us to feel our heartbeat. We actually need to understand a lot of times when my heartbeat is just so speedy and I am feeling so uncomfortable, when I need to get out of that room, when I need to disconnect with that person. I love this analogy I learned, a bucket analogy. Just imagine yourself as a bucket, or you have a bucket, and just ask yourself a question like, what fills your bucket and what drains your bucket? And that makes it so easy for you to choose what kind of people you want to spend time with, what kind of activities you want to do. A few years before, I was that person who could, after a long busy day at uni and everything, I could go to a party and be the most energetic person. But after a point, I felt that meeting so many people was draining me. I was not feeling like myself. And when I understood that my bucket was draining, I asked myself, what is refilling my bucket? And I started choosing those things for me. And it is also like, sometimes we want to shrink ourselves. We are beautiful individuals. We have our identity. We have our own values, but we want to shrink just to fit into a particular group, shrink to fit into a particular culture, trend, or to be likable, to please people. I know we have to do it sometimes, especially when it's a boss in front of you or a manager, and you can't be like, oh, this is my values, and you can't be telling stuff that you are. We have to, unfortunately. But it is beautiful to expand yourself and come back to yourself as well. That yes, this is me. At core, this is the person I am, and that's it. And that is self-love. That is self-care as well. Understanding who you are, what your values are, expanding yourself, conscious decision of surrounding yourself with those activities and those people. And overall, just choosing yourself and appreciating your home. Once you say that, okay, now I feel like home is nowhere else, home is within me. And that's the most beautiful feeling. It is not one specific day that you'll be like, home is within me. It is a journey where you're building home gradually in yourself. I mean, you do need your friends and families. It's like, you want to go to a fancy Airbnb sometimes, get a good luxurious hotel sometimes, but you can't live in a luxurious hotel every day and feel happy. So one of you said familiarity is a feeling of home. Safety is a feeling of home. So yes, friends and family could be someday your, an extra home, or they could be Airbnb or hotel or whatever, but still you want to return to yourself, to your home, and feel safe, feel familiar, feel comfortable in your emotions and in your space. And I hope that is possible, that we keep repairing our home, we keep decorating our home. Don't wait for a specific day to bring out that best dress, or to bring out that best set of glasses and dinner set. Don't wait for a special guest to come for your scent candles to be burnt in the house, or to open that special wine put up in your bar table. A lot of times we just want to celebrate ourselves and our life, and that is also decorating our home, that is also celebrating our home. So I will end my talk, I don't know, my speech, my preaching, whatever you want to call, but I will end it with a poem, and I hope you like it. So this one is called Finding Love. I would have shared more poetry, but all of my poetry is in Hindi, so unfortunately it's like, you would understand if you've written something in Spanish, it is so hard to translate and convey that same essence. You're like, oh, there's no word in English for this. So but this one is originally in English, so I'm sharing this. It is called Finding Love. These days I pause looking at the mirror, reviving my self-love. I go around places not to reach anywhere, but for the love of walking in peace. When the city sleeps, I sit and smile at the stars to find my love for silence, of the night and vastness of the sky. I talk to my old grandma to undust my memories and dive in unconditional love. Not at party, but beside the lake. I sit with my friend to feel the love soaked in pun and sarcasm. For hours, I laugh with strangers to find if my love became transactional like the world, or still it was what I received from my mum, pure and honest. Picking up colors, I find my love for art, neither professional nor fancy, but just a reflection of me, happy and vibrant. Talking to my teddy, I find my blurred childhood and float in the times when mom's lap and dad's hug, auntie's toffee and candies, random things, the times when the world seemed to be made of love. People and situations tried to change my perception. People and situations tried to change my perception, but I would always believe that you and I multiply love. And maybe the universe is made of love. I am doing nothing. I am doing nothing but mixing my feelings and words to compose something imperfect. For the love of writing, for the love of making my listeners smile, for you to find your love, not always in a partner or in a person, but in little things that add life to your soul and forms the soul of your life. Thank you.